Part 139. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Which John Word. Chapter 1381. Chapter 1381 Sunian's Operation. When Sun Ying'er saw Lu Jing like this, she said cooperatively, "The Lu Jing now is really not the Lu Jing before. But he is a very good Lu Jing. Lu Jing, you stay with your aunt, but you have to be good. If you study like this, you will definitely have a better life in the future." Now Sun Ying'er feels that if Lu Jing had a tail, then the current land scene will definitely be shaking crazily. The more joy you want to shake, the more joy you will have. And son, do you need to say this? I already knew it. I will definitely stay by my aunt's side and learn from my aunt well. I will definitely learn to be perfect. After all, my aunt is the most powerful and beautiful aunt in the world. I guess there are countless people in the world who envy me for having such an aunt, huh? Sun Ying'er really didn't know what to say when she saw this arrogant little appearance. This is Lu Jing. Sunian couldn't help but said, okay, please stop flattering me. I'm a little busy now. I don't have much time to listen to your flattery. If you really want to flatter me, then you can wait until I finish my work first, then I gradually become afraid of flattering you, and by that time, if you don't tell me that you feel comfortable, I won't let you leave. These words made Sun Ying'er a little curious. What's important now? But before Sun Ying'er could ask, Sunian's cell phone rang again. This time it was the sound of a phone call. Sunian looked at the phone and took a deep breath. After making preparations, Sunian pressed the answer button. "Huo Linyuan, I really didn't expect that you are so shameless. Please let my son go quickly. If my son is missing a hair, then even if I pay this life, I will not let you go. Sunian, do you know how to be anxious now? Where did you go when you were not in a hurry? I still like you now. When you look anxious, don't you know? When you don't look anxious, it really seems like the whole world is under your control. This feeling is really bad. Huo Linyuan, why are you such a shameless person in this world? I gave you such a chance before, why don't you cherish the opportunity I gave you? Why are you so shameless?" Sun Ying'er and Lu Jing, who were standing next to her, were really impressed when they saw Sunian like this. After all, Sunian is like this. If you don't know the truth, you really think that Sunian is a mother who has lost her child. The expression is as crazy as you want. Now Lu Jing couldn't help but sigh again, lamenting that this Sunian was not a normal person. I had a problem with my brain before, so I would go against her. Fortunately, I was lucky. I made a bet with her to let such a powerful woman become my aunt. If I didn't have such good luck, I might really be dealt with badly now. Sunian felt the admiration in their eyes, so he also looked over. See their expressions of watching the fun. Just press the amplification button. The moment Sunian pressed it, Huo Linyuan's roar rang out. "Sunian, do you know what you are talking about? Do you know what kind of situation you are facing now? You are still talking to me here. Your conditions are really extraordinary. Do you really want to see your son? Stop talking nonsense, don't be like a bitch, just say what you want." End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Which John Word. Chapter 1382. Chapter 1382 Show Off. You are still showing off your power and your rhetoric. Now I really sympathize with your son and why your son has such an irresponsible mother like you. Sunian really felt that Huo Linyuan was out of breath now. Is this the kind of thing where you lie a little too much, so you think you are telling the truth? I don't know how to do it, no way. Huo Linyuan is a male protagonist no matter what. How can a male protagonist be like this? But if that's the case, then of course Sunian can't just be used to it. What about you? Don't forget that there is another child of yours in prison now. You have done nothing at all. Do you know what the consequences will be if the mother of your child leaves any criminal record? Your child may not be able to pass the public examination or go to school in his lifetime. Tisk, 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 your father is really a bit cruel. You can actually kill your child's future before he is even born. It's really, hey, I really feel like it's cruel to be your child now. Sunian, what do you mean by this? Why do you start talking nonsense as you talk? I don't understand what you say at all. Sunian is of course just talking nonsense. After all, Huo Linyuan, the male protagonist, can talk nonsense. If he, the vicious female supporting character, didn't talk nonsense, it would really be a bit confusing for people to understand who the vicious female supporting character is. As a vicious female supporting character, she would never let such a thing happen. Absolutely not. She must do something to defend the dignity of the vicious female supporting role. Nonsense, Huo Linyuan, since you asked me, do you know what I'm talking about? I really want to know now, do you know what you are doing? Do you think civil servants are not good? Do you really have no idea? I really didn't expect your children to become civil servants and high-ranking officials. Hey, if I had known that your vision was so low, I wouldn't have said such profound things, you see. I'm really going too far now. You can't even react when I say such profound things. I'm really bullying you. Lu Jing next to him couldn't help but move closer to Sun Ying'er when he saw the situation, and then said in a voice that only two people could hear, "And son, I really feel that no one in this world can say that now. My aunt is as eloquent as she is. If someone can be better than her, it would be a miracle." That is to say, Sunian is busy confronting Huo Linyuan now. If Sunian was not busy with this, he would definitely say that Li Baikan is obviously many times more powerful than her, so she can't compete with Li Baikan at all. Sunian, okay, you are amazing. I will give you the last chance now. If you really don't cherish this opportunity, then you really won't be able to see your son in your life. Don't waste our time by saying those words. What are you going to do to get my son back? This time Huo Linyuan over there clearly collapsed. Huo Linyuan shouted directly, "I want you to go to the CBD, kneel on the ground, and beg God to let your child come back to you." When Huo Linyuan finished speaking, everyone in the room fell silent. The way he looked at Sunian changed. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jong Word. Chapter 1383. Chapter 1383 The Halo of the Male Protagonist. Sun Ying'er, who has good sense, is okay. But Lu Jing cannot. Fortunately, Sun Ying'er controlled him in time. He signaled Lu Jing not to speak. Lu Jing was really angry now. He really didn't expect that Huo Linyuan would be so shameless, not to mention that the calligraphy treasure was not in Huo Linyuan's hands. Even if the calligraphy treasure is in Huo Linyuan's hand, there is no need to do this. Sunian is a woman after all. A man treats a woman like this. What's wrong? You're afraid, Sunian? Ha ha ha, I really didn't expect you to be afraid. If you are really afraid, then you can say it. But Sunian was not afraid at all, and even said a little jokingly, "Huo Linyuan, you really make me look down on you now. A man, a 7-foot man can actually say such things. You are really awesome, and you can be considered a good person. I have gained so much knowledge after living so long." Don't say so much, I'm just asking you, do you dare? If not, just wait to collect your son's body. After saying that, Huo Linyuan hung up the phone. After Huo Linyuan hung up the phone, Sun Ying'er and Lu Jing gathered around him. Zhou also quickly said, "Madam, this Huo Linyuan is really a bit too bullying. Tell me what to do now. As long as you tell me, then I will do it. We can't let Huo Linyuan be so rampant. We must make Huo Linyuan pay the prices to make this guy regret why he said such mindless words." But Sunian didn't say anything immediately. The reason why this is so is because Sunian is really a little excited now. Because the descriptions in the novel are all about how calm and good the male protagonist is. But the Huo Linyuan just now, to put it bluntly, the Huo Linyuan just now was a lunatic, a complete lunatic. How could a male protagonist be a lunatic? What does this mean? It means that the current male protagonist has no halo. In fact, the reason why Sunian was so circuitous and did not completely kill the male and female protagonists was because he was afraid of the halo. In his last life, Mo Bao really killed the male and female protagonists. But the halo of this male and female protagonist is a very disgusting thing. I don't know when this plot will become powerful, and there will be a lot of halo things that will make people sick. So Sunian has always been a little worried in his heart. The kind that is very scrupulous. But Huo Linyuan just now really had a signal. That's why Sunian was so excited. Even Sunian couldn't help but take a deep breath to calm down his mood. Sun Ying'er, no matter what your plans are, just tell me directly. Don't worry, I will definitely do what you want. Lu Jing, Auntie, as your only nephew at present, I can put my words here. Even if you use me as a sandbag and ask me to go up and shoot you, as long as you say it, then I will definitely attack you. If I retreat, then I, Lu Jing, will really be neither a human nor a beast. Sunian looked at the people surrounding him. Looking at them like this, I really feel a little warm in my heart. Sunian smiled and said under their gaze, since Huo Linyuan has said it, and as a mother, I should do what I should do, so that I can be worthy of my status, otherwise. But as soon as Sunian finished speaking, Sun Ying'er interrupted her, Nian, do you know what you are talking about? Do you know? End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Zhang Word. Chapter 1384. Chapter 1384 Threat. This time, Zhou, who usually obeyed Sunian's instructions without saying anything, said, Madam, I don't know what you are thinking. Maybe you have your own plans, but there's no need to do that. Don't forget who you are. There is really no need for you to sacrifice so much. Not to mention Mr. Li, even I can't stand it. Madam, think about it carefully. The Li family and even the entire Li group are not vegetarians. There is no need for you to be like this. To wrong ourselves, even if you really wrong yourself that much, is to show our incompetence, do you understand? Zhou's words really made Sunian look at him with admiration. After all, Zhou really never said anything similar. Sunian smiled, I understand, but the scene has already been played here. If there is really no way to go on with the scene, then Huo Linyuan will see something. Don't you understand that some things are always going to happen? The competition is who can risk it more. As long as we risk it all, then we can really win. This statement obviously cannot convince everyone. Sunian immediately put away his smile, don't you have confidence in me? Do you really think that I am a waste? I must have my abilities. Just do what I want. I will definitely not suffer. Yes, it will definitely be fine. But everyone still wants to say something. Sunian didn't even say anything to them, okay, I know what to do. You follow my instructions. I know it all in my heart, and I really have a hunch that we can completely use this opportunity to deal with that guy. Zhou couldn't help but said, Madam, it's useless for you to tell me now. How can Mr. Lee let you go with such an insulting thing, so you'd better give up this idea. Sun Ying'er and Lu Jing nodded when they heard this, and planned to say something to make Sunian give up such an idea. Josu, you have been with me for so long, have you forgotten what you said when you came to me, or do you think I have forgotten it? Josu's expression suddenly changed. Since you have come to me, you should do what I want. Only in this way can you last a long time. Of course Josu understood what Sunian meant, but it was one thing to understand, but to follow what Sunian meant. Josu felt that he needed to pretend. But who is Sunian? How could Sunian let Josu pretend? Josu, it's okay if you don't understand me, but you really want to try to turn a deaf ear to me. What else Josu could do was to put on an aggrieved look. Madam, I understand what you mean, but if I really listen to you, how could Mr. Lee let me go? It's okay if you don't tell him this. When things are done, I'll coax you. You have to believe in me and believe in Pillow Feng's ability. It's okay if you don't believe it. Josu, you stay with me like this after a long time, you may actually be able to do the things you think I don't want you to do. Josu. Now Josu really feels that he is going to die. Completely finished. After all, as it is now, death is inevitable. What else can be done now? It's really unlucky. After all, Josu has been by his side for so long, Sunian of course regards Josu as his own. Seeing Josu's expression, Sunian walked to Josu and then patted him on the shoulder. Don't worry, you've been with me for so long, how could I possibly do anything to you? End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jong Word. Chapter 1385. Chapter 1385 Josu Who Can't Lie. Lee Baikan didn't know when he started to panic. It's that kind of inexplicable panic. That feeling is really indescribable. He couldn't help but take out his mobile phone and call Sunian. But I couldn't get through. That's right, it just can't be accessed. Such a situation really made Lee Baikan feel more and more panicked. However, Lee Baikan also comforted himself in his heart. Comfort yourself that you may be thinking too much. What can happen to Sunian? What can happen to Sunian now? At this moment, Huo Linyuan appeared in Lee Baikan's mind. That's right, Huo Linyuan. Why did I forget that guy? Huo Linyuan can do anything. Call Josu immediately. After all, Josu has always been by Sunian's side. If something really happened to Sunian, he would know it as soon as possible. That's right, I also arranged for Josu to be by Sunian's side. If something really happened to Sunian, Josu would definitely tell him immediately. Although he thought so, Lee Baikan was still a little uneasy. If this is the case, then call Josu. Lee Baikan's heart was really hanging in the air. I'm really a little scared. Afraid of what to do if I can't get through. What should I do? At this moment, the call actually got through. That's right, it's been through. When he heard Josu's voice, Lee Baikan really couldn't describe his feelings. That kind of mood was really indescribable. He was so happy. Super happy. Even before Josu had time to say anything, Lee Baikan spoke directly. Josu, where is Nian Nian? Why don't you answer the phone? What is she busy with? Josu, my wife is shopping with Miss Sun right now. Mr. Lee, you know that women don't care about anything when they go shopping. When Lee Baikan heard this, he subconsciously breathed a sigh of relief. So that's it really shocked me. However, before Lee Baikan finished speaking, he realized something was wrong. Something is wrong, very wrong. It would be okay in normal times, but now the situation they and Huo Linyuan are facing is more complicated than now. How could Sunian go shopping? Really, can you videotape me and let me see her? Josu, Mr. Lee, please wait a moment. My wife is trying on clothes. It's not convenient for me to go in. But before Josu finished speaking, he heard Lee Baiken's sharp voice, Josu, are you sure you want to lie to me? What on earth is Sunian doing? Why are you hiding it from me? Why do you really think you can hide it? Stay with me. After saying this, Lee Baiken hung up the phone directly. When Josu saw the situation, his heart thumped subconsciously. Josu felt that he was finished. It's the kind that's really finished. It's not a fake finish. At this moment, Lu Jing put his hand on Josu's shoulder, and then said in a helpless voice, Hey, Josu, you usually look very smart and powerful, how come you lost your temper at the critical moment? Chain, you can't even lie. Even I can hear something wrong with what you just said, let alone Lee Baiken. What else can I say about this? I can only wish you good luck, amen. Don't worry, with our relationship like this, I will definitely burn paper for you next year. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jong Word. Chapter 1386. Chapter 1386. Lu Jing is right. Josu is really going to die. The reason why I say this is because when Lee Baiken was talking to Josu, his computer suddenly received a push from the computer. What was pushed was Sunian's video. He clicked on the video and saw Sunian standing there and saying, I was wrong, I was really wrong, I shouldn't go against Huo Linyuan. I am the stupidest person in the world. I should not have done such a thing. I was wrong. I was really wrong. Lee Baiken immediately planned to get up and go over. But Lee Baiken stopped after taking a few steps. At this moment, Lee Baiken's eyes were as sinister as they were. It was no exaggeration to say that if Huo Linyuan appeared in front of him now, he would definitely kill Huo Linyuan directly. It will definitely make Huo Linyuan's life worse than death. But even so, another possibility appeared in Lee Baiken's mind. This is the meaning of reason. Lee Baiken really didn't know why these things appeared in his mind. If these things didn't appear in his mind, then he would definitely go directly to Sunian. But something in his mind told him that the smartest thing to do now was what to do. Is what to do. Lee Baiken's hands successfully clenched into fists. And Sunian on the other side. She stands in the center of the CBD. He said what Huo Linyuan specified, but he didn't feel anything wrong at all. You may even feel childish. Super childish. At this moment, Sunian's cell phone rang again. Sunian took out his cell phone and pressed the answer button. Then he heard Huo Linyuan's voice, Sunian, do you regret it now? Regret why you went against me, regret why you chose to stand against me in the first place. Sunian sneered, what do I regret? You are a person who can threaten me with a child. I can see that you are a good protector. You are such a problematic guy. It is also the right thing for me to go against you. I even feel that if God has eyes, he will definitely not let me suffer, and will definitely let me come back with revenge. Sunian, have you forgotten what your situation is now? Are you really not afraid of what you are saying now? I'm scared, of course I'm scared, but the fact that you can call me proves that you are not a man. If you are a man, then you will send my son to me. Huo Linyuan over there sneered, do you think it's possible? But who was Sunian? It was easy to tell that Huo Linyuan's wry smile was forced out. You know they are on the phone right now. Even if he is making a phone call, Huo Linyuan cannot continue to act. It can be seen that Huo Linyuan's current mental quality is really very poor. How could he let go of such an opportunity in such a situation? Then what's the use of making this call? What's the use? I beg you, It's of no use. You just want to see me make a fool of myself. You want to see me make a fool of myself. In that case, stop talking nonsense. If you want to see how I make a fool of myself, just say it directly, and I will satisfy you well. I will definitely satisfy you well, but I hope that you, a man, can be a little more reliable. If I satisfy your requirements, then you have to meet my request. After all, the child is innocent. End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jong Word. Chapter 1387. Chapter 1387. Do you know what I hate most about you? What I hate most about you is that you are always so calm. You are so calm, it really makes me want to peel off a layer of your skin. Sunyan couldn't help but frown when he heard this. The reason why he looks like this is because I really think this guy is a pervert. A dead pervert? What on earth is this guy thinking? This guy is also a male protagonist after all. Since he is the male protagonist, why is this happening? Even if this male protagonist does not have any so-called male protagonist halo, he is still a male protagonist. His appearance is really no different from that of a madman. He even peeled off a layer of his own skin. If Sunyan remembered correctly, such a bridge would only appear on the heroine's body. The current situation really makes Sunyan think that she is the heroine now. However, when this idea first appeared in Sunyan's mind, Sunyan shuddered subconsciously. It's incredible, it's really incredible. Why do I have such thoughts? Such thoughts are really bad luck, super bad luck. You can't think like this. You really can't think like this. Sunyan, why don't you speak? Are you listening to me? With your current attitude, do you really want your son to come back to you? When Sunyan heard this, he immediately came back to his senses. Hey, what's the matter with you? I was just a little distracted. Why can't you be a little more tolerant? And you are also a man after all. As a man, you are really stingy like this. Sunyan, do you know what you are talking about? Sunyan really regretted this deafening sound now. I regret why I didn't calculate it well before. Why didn't I think of it, that when talking to this male protagonist, I have to pay attention to my ears. It's really. Sunyan really sighed when he thought of this. But this is fun. This way all the rhythm is in your own hands. I am not afraid of this male protagonist at all. Of course I know what I'm talking about. What I'm telling you is the truth. To tell the truth, what do you think? What are you still dawdling about? If you have any tricks, just use them. Anyway, my son fell into your hands. I'm just unlucky, I admit it. If that's the case, then kneel down on the ground and say, please give me your child, if you can. Huo Linyuan stopped when he said this. The reason why this happened was that Sunyan knelt directly on the ground. That's right, he just knelt down directly on the ground. That's called a clean and crisp approach. Even Huo Linyuan, who was watching Sunyan through the surveillance camera, didn't know what to say. After a while, Huo Linyuan spoke, I really didn't expect you to kneel down so quickly. You are not an ordinary person. Then what do you want? I'm an ordinary person. What do you want from a mother like me? I just want my children to come to me safely. Sunyan has no moral integrity. You must know that once a person has no moral integrity, he is basically invincible, let alone against a guy who pays great attention to moral integrity. Then what is the so-called meaning of such a victory or defeat? There is no so-called meaning at all. End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jong Word. Chapter 1388. Chapter 1388. Huo Linyuan watching from a distance. Seeing the passers-by who were passing by Sunian and constantly pointing at Sunian, even he, who was watching people from the side, felt that Sunian's appearance at this moment was really a bit hairy. Numb. Sunian on the critical phone didn't think anything was wrong at all. I don't think it's anything at all. No matter how carefully Huo Linyuan listened, he still couldn't hear the emotion he wanted. This Sunian. I did this just because I wanted to see Sunian collapse. All he had to do was wait for Sunian to collapse. Then you can give Sunian a hard blow. But now Sunian is really. Huo Linyuan is really a little unconvinced, but even though he is a lot unconvinced, he really doesn't know how to proceed now. Huo Linyuan didn't know how to act in this play, but Sunian did. So Sunian continued to shout, "No matter what you ask me to do, even if you want my life, as long as you say it, then I will definitely not say anything more. I only want my child, as long as you let my child go, then no matter what it is, I will do it, as long as you can let my child go, I will really do it." Even at the end, it felt a bit heartbreaking. Everyone around was attracted. "Speak, what do you want me to do to let my child go? As long as you can let my child go, then no matter what you want me to do, even if it means taking my life, then I won't say what." As she spoke, Sunian's tears fell. Hey, it's really hard for Sunian to shed tears like this. You must know that this is a sad thing that Sunian has thought about a lot. The truth can be said that she had almost finished thinking about all the sad things in her life, no, in addition to her whole life, before she squeezed out these so-called tears. So it's really not easy. It's super not easy. Sunian's appearance quickly attracted everyone's attention. There was even a slightly older person who came to Sunian distressedly and said, "Sister, what's wrong with you? Get up quickly. The ground is a little cold. If you have any grievances, just tell us. I will definitely help you." Sunian held hands and said timidly, "My child is lost, my child can't be found, woo woo." When Sunian finished saying this, the faces of the people around him changed. "What child is lost? Where is your child lost? Did you call the police? Sister, can you tell me what the characteristics of your child are? If you tell us, we will definitely help you find it. Just tell us directly." Sunian really didn't expect such a reaction, and he really couldn't react. But Sunian's behavior made the person who just started talking to her a little anxious. "Sister, hurry up and speak. You really don't need to be so slow. Tell me what the characteristics of your child are. What are you talking about? If you tell us where you lost it, we can find it. But with you now, we really have no way to find it." Sunian only reacted at this time. It seems that no matter where in the world, losing a child is a big deal. I don't know either. Someone called me and said that my child was in their hands. When Sunian just finished speaking, the phone in her hand was immediately snatched away. "Who are you? No, are you a human being? If you were a human being, how could you treat a child? Go ahead, I hope you can let the child go as soon as possible. If you don't, then you are really doomed." End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jong Word. Chapter 1389. Chapter 1389. Sunian next to me really wanted to laugh when she saw this scene. You must know that Huo Linyuan is set up as a domineering president. The kind worth hundreds of billions. Now I am being scolded by an ant. Such a picture is really a bit beautiful, it's hard to say. Sun Yinger and the other three guys next to them were also a little stunned. What is this trend? Why is this trend happening? I'm really drunk. Sun Yinger, this is a bit, I really can't understand it. However, Lu Jing couldn't help but said, I really think this is good. I even feel a bit pity. It's a pity that this ant didn't appear in front of Huo Linyuan, and then scolded him in front of Huo Linyuan. If that's really the case, if so, that's fine. When Lu Jing said this, Sun Ying'er felt a little hopeful. I'm really looking forward to it. But it's a pity that this will not happen. The three of them sighed together. At this time, many people appeared. He immediately surrounded Sunian and violently drove away the people around him. Sunian was also shocked by such a battle. What does it mean? Well, in Mary Sue novels, this posture is indeed a somewhat routine operation posture. Huo Linyuan, what do you want to do? I've already done it according to your wishes. Why are you still not letting me go? Why is this like this? Huo Linyuan said with a dark face, you still have the nerve to say that you have already followed my instructions. Do what you want, you are doing what I want, you can tell me what it looks like. Give me an example, but tell me what's wrong with me, please explain it to me. Huo Linyuan subconsciously wanted to speak. But it's really a feeling that I can't explain. When Sunian saw Huo Linyuan like this, he laughed directly. Huo Linyuan, I really feel that you always like to talk big words. You are obviously unreliable, but you are also a bad person after all. Big man, why do you always talk like this? Sunian, do you really not understand the current situation? If it weren't for Sunian's better self-control. So Sunian's eyes are really rolling to the sky now. This Huo Linyuan really didn't have any brains when he said this, and he didn't have any brains at all when he spoke. Always say this over and over again. It really means nothing, super means nothing. While here, the woman who had just comforted Sunian spoke up, I finally understand. It turns out that you, the man, kidnapped her child. What kind of man are you? If you are really angry, then you go directly to the adults. Why do you go to the children? You are really not a man. Sun Ying'er and the other three people hiding next to them all had straight eyes. Hello, this is really happening. It's really a bit eye-opening. What kind of status is Huo Linyuan? At least in this world, he can be said to be the proud son of heaven. With such status, an ant pointed his nose at him and scolded him. Huo Linyuan's face could be so good. But when the ant saw that Huo Linyuan didn't speak, she thought that Huo Linyuan had a guilty conscience. Since he had a guilty conscience, of course he had to pursue the victory. Hey, I'm talking to you, what's the matter with you? Is there something wrong with your ears? End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jong Word. Chapter 1390. Chapter 1390. What does restoration mean? And looking at you, a young man, you look like a bitch. Why would you do such a thing? You would do such a thing that is worse than a beast. Sunian also sighed beside him. You really have lived a long time and you can see everything. Can actually see the ant fighting the male protagonist. It's really a long time to see you. Absolutely see you for a long time. Huo Linyuan's face could not be darker now. Then two men in black suits walked directly to the ant and pushed her to the ground hard. The ant started shouting directly, it's a murder, it's really a murder. What do you want to do to me? Don't do anything. Huo Linyuan walked over with just one look. When the man in black saw the look in Huo Linyuan's eyes, he immediately slapped the ant. Sunian saw this and subconsciously said, what are you doing, Huo Linyuan? What do you want to do? How can you hit someone? You forgot where this place is. But unexpectedly, Huo Linyuan laughed directly when he heard this. Ha ha ha, Sunian, what do you mean? You want to use moral kidnapping to deal with me? Do you think I will be afraid of you? Even if I really, what's more, it doesn't matter if I take care of this guy, it doesn't matter if I turn the whole world upside down, as long as I want, I can do it. Sunian suddenly raised his head, seeing the madness on Huo Linyuan's face. At this moment, there is absolutely no sign of reason on Huo Linyuan's face. It can even be said that Huo Linyuan now looks like a madman. Sunian clearly felt the danger. Such an irrational male protagonist. Think of the previous judgment. Such a dangerous male protagonist may be a good thing, but although a good thing is a good thing, it is accompanied by 3 dangers. But now that things have come to this point, no matter what the danger is, we must rush forward. If we really use this opportunity to deal with Huo Linyuan thoroughly, then the life of Mo Bao in this life will not be as difficult as the life of Mo Bao in the previous life, and he will definitely have a happy childhood. When such thoughts appeared in Sunian's mind, her eyes began to become firm as she wanted. Huo Linyuan, what do you mean? It's as if you don't pay attention to the law at all. Who do you think you are? No matter how powerful the Huo group is, you are still a businessman. Can you really cover the sky with just one hand? Huo Linyuan slowly approached Sunian and shortened the distance between them. I'm also a little curious. Can I cover the sky with just one hand? Sunian, I have really tolerated you for a long time, and I will definitely not tolerate you this time. You must disappear from this world, and everything will return to its original state when you disappear from this world. These words made Sunian's heart suddenly thump. What does Huo Linyuan mean? Why does Huo Linyuan want to restore it to its original appearance? Is this male protagonist also awakening? If the male protagonist is really awakened, then this matter is really a bit troublesome. Sunian couldn't help but start to panic. But Sunian knew very well that at this time, the more he should not panic. If he panics when facing the male protagonist, he would be completely ruined. This situation must not occur. End of this chapter.